Turn on any TV, check out any news website, and what you will see and what you will hear, especially these days, is lots of bad news. The conversation is mainly about war, terrorism, corruption, scandal, plane crashes, death, and other related dark sides of life. Indeed, news really is a euphemism for bad news. Good news doesn't seem to make it to TV. That's what sells. You have a choice. You could keep watching, or you could turn off the TV. Now, the curious thing is, we blame the media for promoting all this bad news. Yes, it's happening, but it's not the only thing that's happening. There are lots of good things that are happening, but it doesn't seem to make it to the 11 o'clock news. Now, the curious thing is, you and I and everyone else in our lives are also broadcasting. Every encounter we have, every person we talk to, every conversation we're in is an opportunity to transmit the news. The question is, what do we talk about? So you're on the street and somebody walks by you and they say, "What's up?" or "What's happening?" or "What's new?" At that moment, you have a choice. Do you complain? Do you just repeat the bad news? Do you gossip? Or do you meet the request of what's happening with something timeless and powerful, uplifting, elevating, deep and meaningful? The real story of life. That's a choice that you have and I have. And that's a choice that everybody in business has, every company has. What is the story being told? What are people chit-chatting about in the hallways or at the water cooler or in the lunchroom? Is it all about complaint? Is it all about making upper leadership or upper management wrong? Is it all about what's wrong? Or are people going to take that moment when they can broadcast some good news? What they're learning, what they're seeing, how they're growing, the bright spots, the good stuff, the best practices. That's what I'm encouraging you to consider. That the next time anybody asks you what's happening or what's new, instead of just repeating the same old tired story, use that moment to choose something wise, to uplift the conversation, to speak to what's really, really meaningful and what's really important to share. And much of that can be shared in the medium, in the forum of your stories, because your stories carry the timeless, it carries the ancient, it carries the real, and you can share those stories with others if you choose to.